Good morning, everyone.
Morning, all.
Good morning. We're live. We're on time.
We are here and we are ready to rock and roll.
Our sound is on.
Sound is on.
We're feeling fine. Hope you're feeling fine.
I hope you're all doing
Good
great.
morning from Texas, Blake says. How do you become a member? You click join below the video, Blake. If not, go to our channel homepage.
Oh, got some sound coming through the projector this morning.
Just hit pause on your screen there. That's a high quality speaker up there.
It's a high quality.
Not. What do you need?
Let me see. I'm just going to turn that off so I can keep this live.
It's here. I got you.
Is.
We'll turn that off.
Guys, hope you're all doing very, very well. We had some lovely arrivals TXG HQ yesterday.
That might be one of the last ones that's even in stock that you're holding there.
Some nice camo towels.
Oh,
Really
camo
nice.
for her enjoyment.
We have some lovely new TXG navy blue vessel bags.
Tour Experience Golf.
New logo.
Sexy logo, attention everyone. Sexy alert. And also available, for your pleasure,
This thing's a little special.
in black camo.
Black
so it's a
camo.
very subtle camo print.
A little special.
You
that
should be
one.
able, yeah, you can see this sort of the texture on
So
that.
this one, the navy one is nice, and it has the logo heat treated. This one has it
Little
embroidered,
embroidery.
which is really,
Yeah,
really
so
nice.
that is a very good point. So the navy bag,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a slightly different surface, is the heat treatment. You know what, this is really sharp. It almost looks like Vessel kind of made this from scratch, which they really did. But it looks exactly like all kind of the Vessel badging.
Yeah.
And I believe it was just the material used for the camo. But I'll say this, the camo with the textured embroidery, it's like a look of its own. Like it's
Yeah.
very appropriate.
No, I think that one looks incredible.
Wow. Well, they
So-
will be up later today.
Yes.
I kind of feel like we started an info at TXG like onslaught. Put my name in first.
Info at TXG. Get it in there.
If you want to request one early, yeah, go ahead. Marianne, I apologize in advance if you get a million emails for this, but we will. It's only fair. So yeah, if you really, really want one, we can set up a little email list and we will email you first.
That's a good point.
And then you'll get a grace period. We're still going to put them online, don't get me wrong, but we'll give the people who are super stoked on it, you can have a little extra time to buy.
And I think that's the great thing with coming on the lives and stuff like that. You'll always see this stuff first.
I would say
You'll
it's,
always
one might
get
argue, would
first.
say advantage.
perk. A perk.
A serious perk.
So update my feed.
yeah,
here.
go for it.
Should be good.
So that's the good news of the morning. The bags are in and lots of new towels are in. The head covers you will have seen on our Instagram teaser are, I believe, finished and they are coming to us very soon. I believe they're in the mail either now or they will be soon. So the merch is going to be going from some kind of, I would say, limited releases to having a really robust set of stuff that I think you guys will really like. We still have sweaters and hoodies.
Yeah.
I'm still recovering from Mitchell Schwartz posting that. I don't know if I'll ever recover. It was one of the coolest things that's happened to us.
I've got a bunch of friends who are really into football, and
yeah, so do I.
I'd kind of sent them the message like, yeah, just a Super Bowl champ running around with TXG swag on.
Exactly
No big
what
deal.
I said that to one of my buddies too. Well, the famous Sammy is a Kansas
Oh, is he?
City Jayhawk by blood, so I would imagine he'll have seen that
He'll
also.
be loving it.
So that was really cool. That's the good news. Unfortunately, we have to announce.
We have to announce, I just read literally Golf 007's questionnaire. When are you guys flying to Dubai?
Unfortunately, guys, we have decided that we are not going to go to Dubai.
We're not going to go to Dubai.
And I would say we're not going to Dubai now. We may go in the future.
Yeah, I
But
think
we are
that's a
not
good
going.
point.
We're not going now. You go ahead. You can start.
Yeah, further down the line, guys, we would love to do that trip, and obviously
We will do it. We will do it.
There's so much good golf out there. There's a great network out there that we would love to connect with, but the reality is things are just a little bit too unsafe right now with regards to travel. The messaging is very clear: hunker down, pay attention to the restrictions, and that's just the right thing to do right now. So we're just being mindful of our well-being, the well-being of others, and obviously the risks that come with travel.
I think that's fair. And if anyone is a Canadian citizen watching, you'll be familiar with what is being released for legislation today. So incoming travelers to Canada now require PCR test negative 74 hours before travel. So needless to say, if the two of us are overseas and we will get our test, obviously, so we can come home. If you test positive, I don't know what happens. I don't know if you can get on the plane. And if you do get home, there's quarantining. You know, we both have significant others that we would like to see, and you have a young baby boy that you would probably like to see on a regular basis. So I think the reality is there's a lot going on. I think logistically it is a bit of a nightmare to travel already. This new legislation makes it a little on the scary side. I'll say that outwardly. It's the idea of being stranded overseas is pretty undigestible for me.
Yeah.
So we really want to go, guys. Like, don't get us wrong at all. It just, for many reasons, it feels irresponsible, I think, as you put it very well. And I think also logistically for us personally, it puts a lot of really unfortunate situations within reach. Like, it could happen that we get stranded. Honestly, one of us could get stranded over there and the other one could be at home, and it's just like, it's tough. And then, to be honest, if we have to quarantine when we come home, if we had a positive test, we can't make videos for 2 weeks, and I don't know, am I missing anything?
No, I think
I want to go, we just can't.
The right thing to do is you know, we're no different from you guys. We're above no laws. Regardless of whether there's a loophole in which we can travel and you know, we're doing media stuff. Right is right and wrong is wrong, and the right thing for us to do in our mind right now is to not encourage any more of us to suffer with this whole.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And everyone follows the news enough to see that a lot of people in senior political positions have been traveling when they shouldn't, and you know, let's not get looped into sort of that conversation. I agree with you.
So the reality is, guys, you're stuck with us.
I know.
There'll be more content coming than ever before, and we're going to just do all our testing from here. We're super excited about that. All the new clubs are coming.
Yeah.
New TaylorMade product arrives today.
It's exciting.
Very exciting. Ping we're picking up in the next couple of days, because that was going to be a lot harder if we went to Dubai. So
plus that deadline's creeping in.
Creeping.
So I guess the bad news, good news is, the good news is we will be here. We will be filming, to be honest with you, probably more than we would have been. And we have some really interesting plans that we're going to pivot on, kind of host our own little annual something that normally occurs at the end of January. So don't be discouraged. We are going to, I would say this. Am I correct? We really wanted to go to Dubai, but the decision to not go in some ways is, it generates a little bit of relief, because we would have been going through a lot to make that happen. And I'm not sure that we would have actually been able to create as much as we wanted to, given the circumstances. And
it would have been tough,
It would have been really tough. And I think being here now, we will be able to do probably even more than we thought we would. We have all the product coming. So for you guys' purposes, yes, it won't be quite as exciting. You won't see sexy Dubai backgrounds, and it won't be outdoor testing. We get it.
Yeah.
But I think overall, we're going to be more in front of you than we would have been, if anything.
Definitely. So we'll do all our initial testing here.
Yeah.
We'll get a feel for all the new clubs, and down the road in the next few months, if you know, things start to kind of show improvement, and
we'll be monitoring it every day.
We'll and you know, it looks like there's a better landscape, and you know, that sort of stuff to travel. We will look at maybe doing something further down the line in spring, perhaps. So
that is it.
Our pal Ben, who was on the New Year's Eve on the
That's
link.
right.
Ben is saying, "Hey guys, thanks for the chat last week. Phoned Nick Hibbs yesterday at 2X Golf and booked for the soonest slot possible after lockdown 3.0. So good for you, Ben.
Awesome, Ben.
Good for you, my man.
There's Ben's message. Good to hear.
That is great to hear. I liked Ben.
So did I. And we also hopefully get a check-in from Bruno from Texas. Bruno was going to decide where he was going to get his fit numbers, and he might be sending them into to our own Chris Kendall. So we'll keep you posted on that if we hear about that also. Yep. What else can we announce before we just get into some questions? Anything else you...
Nothing else too much going on.
What's going on here?
A few different... little snacky.
You're definitely back into the gym. It's good, eh?
Yeah, it's good.
You feeling it?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
I'm starting to feel the itch myself.
It's... Yeah. No,
hopefully it will coincide with when my gym actually reopens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm starting to think about missing the gym. I was like, lockdown, miss it hard right away. Then like it's almost like you accept it. And now I'm kind of like, I'd really like to kind of get back into that routine. I miss a lot of stuff about it. I really do.
Yeah, it's good for your physical, mental state.
It
no
is.
doubt about it. There's a lot of people struggling without that routine that
Scary.
gives them that little relief
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
it's very scary. I'm hoping. Well, we'll see. What happens with the lockdown, but maybe. What happened last time was sort of a tiered reopening system. They opened certain things. So with any luck, a gym being pretty controlled environment, pretty low case, it hasn't been an outbreak issue. So maybe gyms will be coming back sooner rather than later. It would be good if people could get back moving the old body. And as you said, it's a mental health exercise more than anything. It would be really good.
Definitely.
And if anyone is still in the gym, that's great. Yeah. Unfortunately, here they're mostly closed. There's a couple. I'm glad to hear that you're getting some physical treatment and that it lets you use a bit of the facility, and that's great.
I'm trying to kind of like still recover from this kind of like
your
this
neck thing, right?
issue and stuff like that, which has been much better. So it's
good.
I think it's a smart choice to leave kind of physiotherapy and kind of rehabilitation centres open. I think that's a good.
I would say, yeah. I think. Well, I could be misspeaking. I think those are all open.
They are.
What's
mine? That's what my clinic
What's
is.
great about yours is that for someone that is being treated for that injury, you can work out a bit. No, I mean, it would be great if everyone could work out, but don't neglect yourself. I think if there's anything that you're probably learning too is if something's going on with you right now, I get a lot of stuff is closed, but that's not going away on its own. Your neck and no issues going away on its own, and hopefully just do your best to work on it while you're away or while we're on lockdown. Come back better than ever.
Absolutely. Ben is saying he yesterday hit the Ping G425, the 425, and oh boy was she a beaut. So yeah, a little bit of chatter starting to happen in the inbox of people saying that they've tried the new TaylorMade, they've tried the new Callaway, they've tried the new Ping, hearing some good stuff.
Must be nice, eh?
I know.
Must be nice.
Must be nice.
It's so funny.
So it's
we have high expectations.
It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a very good year for the equipment. It really is.
It is it's sort of it's going to really just be flooded in 2-3 weeks when those three major companies get kind of on the channel. It's been good. I think you called it early. Like you said, Titleist may really benefit from this kind of earlier release.
Yeah.
Because now we're going to compare these drivers to Titleist.
Yep.
It's always the opposite. It's always how close is Titleist, and I'm just singling them out. They're not the only ones, but Cobra and Mizuno and all these companies.
Yep.
How good are those compared to Callaway, TaylorMade, and Ping? Yep. They're the three, let's be honest, that mostly make the best driver every year. And now it's going to be sort of TSI versus those.
Yeah.
It's really an interesting kind of flip.
Definitely.
What's occurred.
Lots of movement this week with players and sort of obviously contracts. We talked
active.
a little bit the other day about the John Ram thing, so it's interesting to see how the dust will settle with all that sort of stuff.
It will be.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Are you in the mood for a call-in this morning?
A couple of them. Would love to. I think these call-ins have been fantastic. I loved meeting Mark. I loved.
It's so good. It's so good. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was talking to a couple of friends and they were saying, one person called me just to say how they found that session with Mark to be really, first of all, like they were almost like shocked by how cool and organic that was, that it just occurred. And that too, that was just sort of inspirational to see someone like him. Mark never, aside from letting you know that he had one arm and he was swinging with one arm, there was no other discussion of it. I think it was inspirational for people just to go, you know what, that's happened to him, or I'm not sure Mark's situation, perhaps he was born like that, but I just think he had a really good attitude. He was very positive. It was all to do with what can I do to get better, and honestly, the fact that he's a tennis coach and all that stuff, it was just sort of icing on the cake.
Cool,
but
isn't it?
I loved everything about it. I loved that it just occurred. I was even talking to my mom, and she said, like, was that planned? How's that work? Or she didn't ask that. She knew it was. But we were discussing the fact that the value of something like that just occurred would have been more so than if we had met Mark a year ago and said, Mark, will you come on and sort of talked about it ahead of time. The fact that we just went, this is presented to us, and a few people said the same thing to me also. They're like, how the hell does Ian have experience with that? Like, I knew he had experience with a lot of stuff, but it's just like, it was really cool for someone like Mark to go, ask that question, expect from you to go, okay, Mark, let me try to do my best for you.
Work our way around it.
And you literally just went, no, I know exactly what you're experiencing. Here's what you do. Anyway, it was probably, not to insult anyone else's Colin, it was probably the best Colin we've had, because it had it all.
It did. It was great, and that's why I think that's why these are so good.
Yeah. It was an uplifting experience.
There's our pal Mark in there. Thanks, gents. Enjoyed it a lot.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Mark, hello. How are you?
Morning, Mark. Yeah, it's. I just think that's why I've always kind of remember back in the day. I always said I love the comments. I love the replies to comments. I love connecting with people, and if we can get you face to face, we can connect.
You were right about it all along. What's great is that we finally had the right kind of piece of technology, I guess, solution that made it so seamless.
Yeah.
But no, you've been saying that for a while. Like, wouldn't it be cool to just kind of get people face to face briefly, and it's great.
Get some context as to their issues rather than just
that.
What shaft or what.
I also
head.
love just the fact that it's just rolling the dice.
Yeah, it is a bit.
Because a few people have said to me, like, are you too crazy? Like, there's 1,000 people watching. Mm-hmm. What if someone just comes on ass naked or something? Like, what happens? I'm like, I don't know. Then they come on ass naked. What do you want me to do for you?
That's it. That's exactly.
I don't want that to happen, but if it happened, it would be an experience for all of us. Something you will never forget.
Yeah. Lots of PXG chatter in the.
They leaked that thing.
The 0211.
It's been leaked.
Yeah, so there was
I think on our
golf.
Yeah, our favorite guy.
Yeah,
we got to meet this guy.
So he is now obviously getting some preferential treatment when it comes to
seems like
leaking stuff, and that seems like it's on brand with them. All golf equipment. It must have been a story, or maybe they. There you go. So, yeah, it's a story.
Is it a story?
Yeah. That was it,
okay. Yeah. So that's why the PXG chatters and the new line has been leaked.
So we've seen it. We have seen it.
Yes, we've seen it in person. Actually.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about the 0211 stuff.
Did we sign anything with PXG?
No, signed nothing.
What do you think of the new? Well, so
PXG 0211.
Here's my. We're gonna let loose a bit, with this stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not being mean.
Yeah.
I don't personally understand why let me take this from a business perspective. Mm-hmm. Being someone that is involved with business marketing myself, I don't understand why the platform that the business was built on was we spare no expense. They're expensive as hell. It's kind of like Buckley's, tastes like shit, but it works.
Right.
PXG. Very expensive, but it's the nicest stuff you can buy.
Yeah, materials-wise, sourcing,
we
all
spare
that
no
stuff,
expense.
yeah.
The box that comes in costs $100. Like, we're going to go nuts. Why now would you get into? And I'm not going to call it budget equipment because it's not. It's just equipment that costs the same as the other major manufacturers.
Far from budget equipment.
It's just tailor-made pricing, basically, and that's not insulting to TaylorMade. It's just mainstream pricing.
Pricing.
So I don't get it. I don't understand why you would take an interesting position. Maybe you didn't agree with it, but from a business perspective, you try to appeal to everyone, you're going to appeal to no one, and you're going to fail. You specify and you know your market, you serve them well, you're loyal to them in a sense, you're consistent.
Yeah.
You can be very successful. And I think that's why they've been successful. But now I do feel like their identity is being lost because now they're basically saying, well, here's these clubs that cost similar to everybody else's. They're still going to say they're the best clubs.
Yeah.
But how can you say that when you previously said the way to get the best clubs was no budget and this kind of stuff? So what will happen, I don't know. And maybe they're just transitioning out of the super high end and I'm not aware of it. Yeah. Maybe that's what it is.
I think there's been a few shifts for them. Obviously, the direct-to-consumer market has exploded for them. They've been successful in that market. So it's just interesting for me to see them. They kind of have their premium product seems to be going up against their budget product now because they have excess stock all the time. So
that's the part that
Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. We're all hearing rumors about Gen 4, and it's coming. It's coming soon.
Imminent.
So which one is it? Like, which one do you buy? I'm not even sure Gen 1's still available. Gen 2 certainly is for a discounted price. Gen 3 is now a discounted price, and then there's a budget club. Like,
It's too much.
Murky waters. I mean, we all know the sort of stigma that TaylorMade had attached to them for flooding the market with too much product.
They'll never shake
Product
that.
cycles.
They will never shake that.
Lots of pros, lots of consumers still hurt by that.
Good point.
And that's where you kind of go, are we clear about our messaging?
Yeah,
That's,
I agree. And I think they are maybe muddying it a bit. Here's the comparison I would make. Mm-hmm. I think what they're doing would be if you went to a Mercedes-Benz dealership.
Yeah.
And you were looking at let's say Gen 4 is a 2021 S-Class Mercedes.
Yeah.
Stupid expensive, which Gen 4 will be.
Yeah.
Ruinously expensive compared to a normal set of golf clubs. If a Honda Accord is, a set of irons for $300 or something, this is $200,000 for a set of irons by comparison, right? So what I think they're doing is you want to go in and buy this car. They're also going, Mr. Fraser, we also have a 2020, 2019, and a 2018 S-Class. And they are considerably less expensive. And you know what? They're pretty much as good as that one. And the only person buying the 2021 cares about it being called 2021. The other thing they're doing is now I think there's a brand new lineup on the lot of A-Class, which is a real car. It is around $30,000 because they want more market share. That's what 0211 is.
Definitely.
And so I don't think it necessarily is a bad strategy, but Mercedes never said the only and best way to make the best cars is to make them stupid expensive. Mercedes has been making, and I'm not going to call a $30,000 car low end, but they've made some affordable cars that are really, really good cars for ages. And I think it's part of their strategy, but you don't go to a car dealership and they're not telling you to buy a 2018. They do that for people who are like, listen, I can't afford the 2020. I really want to get a bit of a deal. So I totally agree with you. I think if it was just 0211 and premium line, current, it'd be okay. But the 3 years of prior sales stuff, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
It's muddy, isn't it? It's muddy.
Yeah, it's a mess.
I think
I don't like it.
I think when it comes down to, obviously, all these things, one thing I will cut them some slack on is that they're a very new business. They've only been around for five years, maybe just around, wouldn't be more than 5. I think with them, they're figuring out their identity, who we are. Sales, obviously, they came in with a business model. We are premium. We do the best clubs. We have the best materials. All the kind of marketing stuff. And then obviously they found that the market was a little bit shallow up there. The market was smaller. The pool of customers was pretty slim. So to get the volume play, they needed to do it other ways. And then they tried it by discounting it. So excess inventory at a point was discounted. The new line moves in on top of that. But then people go, well, I've tried the Gen 2 and the Gen 3. They don't do that much different. We found that with Gen 1 and Gen 2 with you.
And you said, I think what you said was, it's not a knock on Gen 2 and Gen 3. Just you said Gen 1 was a really good set of irons. So like the margin for improvement was not as much as people would expect when replacing golf clubs. Yeah, it's an interesting one.
I think a lot of people will welcome the opportunity to purchase PXG clubs, a brand that they kind of maybe have admired from far, and there will be some people who, like your Mercedes comparison is good. Really good, because like you said, like a Honda at 25, 30K, well, a C-Class might be 33, 34.
Yeah, I think
it's affordable.
And the reason, I hope I'm not wrong, A is like a new base model, I think, and there's a B also, but I was just trying to make a basic comparison. It's like, there are cars that get you from point A to B, just like golf clubs. There are golf clubs that can be properly fit, perform for you just as good as something else, and by that I mean it will get you there. The experience of getting there is going to be very different, and that's what you're talking about. Like why do you want a PXG? It's you enjoy owning something that is nice, like it's been made to the absolute best kind of thing. So I like a lot of things about it. I think it's cool to have a major player in the industry that pushes the boundaries and isn't. You know what it's kind of like? They were sort of like the Bugatti experiment, because they lost money when they sold Bugattis. I think they still do.
Yeah. And
the whole point of it, owned by Volkswagen, was to sort of up the brand, push the boundaries of engineering. It's a marketing thing. So from PXG's perspective, because that was their main line, it's very interesting. I think part of it might be for Bob Parsons is that this is ultimately his passion. And maybe because he is so in control of it, that if he feels like pivoting, he can pivot.
Yeah.
He can pivot if he wants to. If he feels like having more market share, he can have more market share. I'm going to call Dave Fogel out. Dave, I know cars pretty well. I don't know why you're chirping me. I know cars fine, but I don't really know what your deal is. But anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens. I would like to test those 0211s and the ones when they come out. We'll see if we get the love to have some test clips.
I would doubt it. I wouldn't think we'll get the call.
Maybe
to
not
get
from
those.
them. Maybe we'll get them from somebody else. You've
Yeah.
had offers.
We have had offers. Yeah, we reached out to them when we tested that 0811X. Then we had to go and get that from a friend, and then because I guess there was some demand for it, etc. And we thought it was kind of cool because it was and there was only a certain amount of limited SKUs on it, and that was like a prototype driver.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it wasn't sent direct.
No. So we'll see. PXG, if you're listening, we're not ragging on you, but we would like to test your stuff, and people want to hear about it. Clearly, I think that's the reason we ended up talking about it for 10 minutes. Is it's like people like talking about it. It's an interesting topic. They are a major needle mover, whether you like them or not, and they definitely have influence on other companies in the market.
Yeah,
definitely do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ultimately comes down to what we notice from you guys, and I just noticed a lot of 0211 chat this morning, people talking about the new line and people asking, are we testing it, are we likely to be testing it? So I think the answer is, are we likely? I wouldn't call it any better than 50-50 right now.
Yeah.
I think the chances are we'll test most things.
Yeah.
That one, I wouldn't call it any better than 50-50.
It's fun to have a little drama left. I have to say, in 3 years, the relationships that we've developed with manufacturers are quite unbelievable. Like it's really sort of humbling, I think, to see how quickly all these companies have really included us in their sort of media releases and keep us apprised and go out of their way to get us product on time. And you've been back and forth with guys, and when we thought we were going to Dubai, and they were helping us maybe contact. Crazy. So it's great. It's great. And to be perfectly fair to PXG, in the past, we haven't had relationships with almost any of these companies, and something's occurred, some communication has occurred, and then we did have it. Yeah. So again, I'm not ragging on them, but And Dave, I'm not ragging on you either. I'm just busting your balls. You don't have to apologize. I was just busting your balls. It's all good. All good. I do love comparing cars to golf clubs, though. I have to say, there's something very, very parallel about the two.
I think so.
Because it's something that you have to get from point A to point B, and if you love golf, you have to have golf clubs. And there are cheap cars that can get you to work, and there are expensive cars that can get you to work. And it's just a question of what that experience means to you.
Yeah.
That's why I like comparing them. Let's get off PXG.
Yeah. Let's dive into questions. Let's see what you guys are asking.
I'll put the live thing in. I bet.
Yeah,
we
the
got
links.
A little sidetracked.
Little speed round here.
Do it.
Have we tested the new Rad Speed irons? We have not. We've not tested them. We haven't seen them. That's a no to that one.
No. Hopefully soon. I think we have a set coming eventually. That's a good question. Do you want to answer that? Brandon?
What company has the best engineering department?
I know it's a tough one.
There's a kind of, there is an interesting kind of saying or a comparison at Ping. The budget for the Christmas party in the marketing department, I could probably afford.
That's like the running joke?
Yeah. The budget for the Christmas party in the engineering department, the National Treasury might not be able to afford.
Yeah, right.
And I think that they are probably, from an engineering perspective, and the way they present themselves with Marty Jertson, with Dr. Paul Wood, Dr. Eric, or I'm not sure if Eric is officially a doctor, but Eric Henriksen.
That's a good question. He's an engineer for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know Paul is officially Dr. Paul.
So
Wood.
he has a PhD in engineering,
he does,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not sure. I don't think Eric is.
We're both younger guys, which I think is good. They've obviously gone through a lot of education, and have they both been in the industry the whole time, or did they come out of another branch of engineering and into it?
I think they both came out of another branch of engineering. Yeah. So I would have known Paul for
says a lot.
Six or 7 years. So he's been doing it at Ping for longer than that. So and he's a young guy. He's barely older barely much older than me, maybe 3 or 4 years older than myself.
Right.
But they're from an engineering standpoint, they do it great. We don't know. We've never been inside Callaway HQ, so I'm not really too sure. A Titleist, certainly their engineering department.
On the golf ball is unmatched. Fair.
Unmatched on the ball. Unmatched.
The clubs maybe leans towards Ping.
I would think so. I mean, TaylorMade, obviously, they've always had a big team and a really, really talented team of engineers.
Absolutely.
We know obviously
it's
Tomo
a very
and
Tomo is
Volvi and
they're all
guys.
very smart guys. I think it's an interesting question because it isolates a couple of things, like who's the best engineering kind of firm with golf. It doesn't necessarily mean who's making the best clubs every year necessarily. It really doesn't, because it all depends on what actually comes out. Because engineering departments could suggest something at any company, but who do the higher ups, what do they let come through? Like, it's not their final decision, I don't think. Maybe more so at Ping, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Would be interesting to know kind of the internal workings of that. But live link is coming, Dave, right now.
Coming.
Stand by, pal. It's always txg.ca/live, just so you know. The link doesn't change, but when I'm updating a fresh form for today's live, that's why it takes a second.
So
Here it comes. Again, if you want to join, if you don't know what we're talking about, it's just a little quick interview. So if you have a question for us and you want a chance to actually chat with us back and forth, put your name in, but only do it if you are available to chat with us in the next, 15 minutes. And please only do it if you have earphones. Don't have to be anything fancy, but any sort of headphone solution to remove the echo.
We do need that.
Yeah, otherwise there's a substantial echo, and it sucks.
We do need that.
So link is there. Go for it.
Let's see. Nathan has a pretty interesting point. Amen, Matty. I'm an engineer myself, and there's a ton of limitations put on engineering teams.
It's very interesting. Yeah, the business of it, I would imagine.
To go beyond.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, so an engineering team at any, I can talk about cars again. I would imagine some of the cars that have been designed like behind closed doors that you've never seen the light of day. And I bet you there's like concept cars and concept golf clubs that engineering teams have made, and they maybe won't make it because the business-minded people at the firm decide, you know what, maybe that's a great design, but hey, we release a driver every year. You can't go that far yet. Or, for the progression of our lineup. Mizuno's conversation was great, and I think they were very transparent. They basically said, engineering and marketing work together to decide this is a 3-year plan for drivers. We're committing to these technologies. We want to develop them. Yes, we have to make money in the meantime, and that's why we release the drivers. Yeah. But we are committing to these sort of engineering processes, and it would be a very interesting give and take. It's kind of like in my industry, the most creative people, sort of at a marketing firm or an ad agency. You can make the most creative ad in the world, but it doesn't mean it's going to make it. You still have to go through the client. You're going to go through your boss, and then what comes out the other end is what happens. But that would let me go down the tangent I went last time, which is having the freedom to create what you want. We were talking on the phone the other day when we were doing that interview. There's something really nice about, like, today we want to talk about this, or you and I want to create this today. You just do it.
Definitely.
There's a pricelessness to that kind of freedom in business that is I would. You can't pay for it. You can't buy it in a store. It is truly the best thing about working in this situation, I think, is that we based on our decisions just get to go, this is what I think we want to do this. We think people want to see this. We're going to enjoy doing it. We think it's valuable. Let's do it. And
it's really what led Miller. People will ask me kind of why did I leave TaylorMade and why did I leave other companies that I've been part of it. It's exactly that, because ultimately, I want to do what I want to do. Yes. And I don't really, if I feel strongly about something, I don't have any.
You don't want to have to convince someone else, and I don't blame you. I think we've talked about this many times. I think a lot of the reason you and I are like-minded in this is that we both have the same attitude. Coming from an entrepreneurship situation, we want to maintain the freedom and control over the things that we're passionate about. We're not interested in building something and then giving it up and then being, a follower in that situation. We want to have control over it. So that's part of why this kind of stuff is rewarding. I think it's also why we're liking lives recently, because lives are truly whatever the hell we want to do.
Yeah.
We're going to take the questions we want to take. We're going to talk about what we want to talk about for the length of time we want to talk about it.
The head-to-head stuff.
And then we can do whatever we want, and it's just going to occur. The conversations are going to occur the way that we say it. We're not rehearsing this. We literally don't even talk before we go live half the time. We say hello, how's it going, and a little morning chat. But it's not like, hey, today, Ian, we're going to do this, and this. Make sure this question. It's like, do you feel like taking a few interviews today? No. Yes, I do. Sounds good.
Yeah.
And I hopefully, to be honest, guys, it's not meant to mean like we're lackadaisical or like we don't care and we don't prepare. It's the complete opposite. To be honest with you, I want to preserve the organic nature of it, like at all costs.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes to make these conversations stay unrehearsed, I'll do anything to keep it that way.
I was watching a very successful podcast the other day, one of the top podcasts in the world the other day, and it was the YouTube version of it, and before they got on, it was kind of like the introduction of the hosts and the guests. And at one point, one of the hosts, the co-host, started talking to one of the guests about like, oh, so what have you guys been up to? And the other one just went, stop.
Oh, really?
Stop right there. Do not answer that. Stop asking stupid questions. Wait till the cameras are on. And that's very much our philosophy.
Yes.
Wait till the microphone is on.
Yeah, because it won't be the same the second time.
It won't be the same.
And
so
they
want
true.
the way that interaction will come across, the questioning and stuff like that. It's just leave that stuff for on the camera.
Totally agree. I personally don't think that unless you're a professional actor, that you can perform something the second time to any sort of valuable, I don't know, and I don't think people believe it as much when they know it's been rehearsed. So that's always been, and you guys aren't surprised to hear this, every video is like that. We have never rehearsed a video, ever, and I'm glad. I hope we never do. Honest to God, I hope we never do.
At this point, it is unlikely.
And if anyone ever asks if we want to give a speech somewhere, the answer is no, thank you.
William is asking, with the COR on the driver being 0.83,
who's that? Sorry, I'll pull it up.
William Hartman.
William Hartman, okay.
Every driver has the identical distance on centered strikes for the last 15 years. So the only advancements and differences are now on off-center hits correct. So the 0.83 COR, the coefficient of restitution sort of limit, is actually not the way that drivers are tested for speed anymore. It's actually they're tested by their characteristic time, which is the rebound speed. So the CT of the driver is now limited to 239. There is now, well, not now, but there is a tolerance within that allows it to be 257 CT microseconds.
Just quickly, is that literally the amount of time the golf ball's on the face of the driver or something?
That is, yeah, so it's basically, yes, exactly.
It is,
so
right? And is it milliseconds?
Micro, I believe.
Micro? That makes sense.
I believe.
Just so people know what the hell we're talking about. So basically, COR is not the standard of which drivers are approved or unapproved anymore. They shoot for 0.239, but they're allowed to be 257. So that
257.
That was when twist face, or sorry, when speed injection started. They were basically saying, and I'm just making up a bunch of shit here.
Yeah.
We're making all these drivers 0.275, but then we're going to dial them back exactly to 257, and that's why that. I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah. So 257 microseconds. So there's a manufacturing tolerance built into that. So really the key to speed and speed retention and is achieving that all over the face. It was actually for a while. It was there was some companies who were sneaking the limits, being beyond the limits either side of the centered strike because there wasn't testing being done on it.
Also, they just make the toe hotter than the middle.
Yeah,
that's sneaky.
So and there was kind of there was a loft tolerance as well. So like some of the fairway woods were maybe a little sneaky hot and things like that. And,
interesting. So just to bring back to, I think, William, the question was, that argument is very common online. I've seen it a lot, and I get it. I think people are frustrated with club marketing sometimes, where they go, like, stop telling me something that I know isn't true. It would be like, you didn't make this year's Tim Hortons coffee hotter. Like, it's still the same temperature. So they're basically saying, if drivers have technically been maxed out at one point, and I don't know when that was, let's say it was 5 years ago, is it true that the dead center of the face will perform the same as it did 10 years ago? Are we sure that that's the case? Like, I know we've done a bunch of testing and we've gotten center face strikes from like that old Callaway driver.
There's no doubt about it. Drivers are faster towards that limit than they were 10 years ago.
So
no question.
You might find a driver that has that much pop on it in the dead center. But if you took 100 10-year-old drivers, you know where I'm going with this kind of thing?
You can go back a few years. I think M5 was a good example, even though it had speed foam. There was no way that head was quicker.
I agree.
I think that one was dialed back too much.
Seemed like it, and then they seem to have gotten it right with sim. And
yeah.
I mean, the reality with that question, I think it's a good question that William asked, is no matter what you've read or believe, and whether that's true or not, testing is going to expose that, or it isn't. So if someone tells you that all drivers are the same from the last 10 years, there's really no point in believing them. Just go and test a 10-year-old driver against a new one. If it is the same, then great. Yeah. But I really doubt you're going to find the same results for 98% of golfers. There's no way.
The other part of this as well is it's absolutely pointless trying to compare one micro category to another. And CT is a micro category.
Is it ever?
But when you add in aerodynamics, you add in shaft deflection, as in lead kick speed from the shaft and its contribution.
Yep.
When you add in rotation, whether you need to encourage it or discourage it, you add head weight, you add length. Like I've just given you 5 or 6 ways to increase either ball speed or club head speed. You compound those things together, and all of a sudden, you can get some significant gains.
Yeah.
Never think that it's, I'm not going to try the new drivers because they're no faster than they were 5 years ago. That doesn't mean anything. It literally has never meant anything.
That's a great point.
It's the compounding of technologies, build specs, and the fact we're fitting it specifically to your needs. We can select 7 or 8 key things that make it absolutely better for you.
I'm going to get you eventually to say that again in a video. I think you've probably grasped that about as well as I've ever heard it. I'm going to have to process that a bit. I get what you're saying, because it's like, no matter what that characteristic time is or something, all these fitting to, like, if I'm not incorrect, you're basically saying that there's an argument to be made that a weight placement or a shaft choice could end up producing more ball speed and distance gains and accuracy gains than any amount of like face time difference in a microsecond. If you get someone to strike the ball better with fitting, they're obviously going to get way more gains than worrying about R7 versus R9, for example. Yeah, that's really well said.
That's exactly it.
I think that's probably one of the most concrete ways to go about assessing old stuff. Yeah. And it just comes back to the same thing. It's performance-based, and having someone that actually knows how to use the tools properly. If you're getting sold to dry, on a demo range or something, then sure, absolutely. Ask them about the characteristic time, because they're not offering you anything further. You'd agree. If you're on the range and someone goes, hey, Mr. Jones, characteristic time for you, here's 0.2 milliseconds. Like, I don't give 2 shits about that. But if you were on the range, let's say, and you went up to and said, Mr. Jones, looks like you have a bit of a slice there. I'm going to use a Sim Max, like you say, in draw weighting, and I'm going to help your strike and your shot shape, and that's going to give you 5 miles an hour ball speed and better distance. Then he'd go, okay, sounds good. And then he'd fairly ask you, can you do that with my driver? And the answer would either be yes or no, it doesn't have the adjustability or it doesn't have the features. So,
and that's why when people start to kind of question, well, and it gets labelled, I call it us, and I'll say us as an industry, club fitting industry, we are snake oil salesmen, or we try to sell, false hope to people, because clubs haven't evolved within, the last 5 years that much, or the last 3 years that much. That's not what we're doing. You can take the fastest club today and give me one from a previous generation. If I tune you up to that one, and it's a much better fit for you, I can get significant yardage for that player.
You've done it with, go watch the Callaway Big Bertha Alpha fitting. We tested it in the original form, no adjustments with a stock shaft. Yeah. I remember you making some adjustable hosel changes and a reshaft of it. Ended up being a pretty good driver. It wasn't great all over the face, but that was one of the ones where we went, okay, well, on really good hits, it's still a quick enough driver. It's not the best performing driver you could have gotten for me, but a retrofit of that would have been worth someone's time and effort if they like that driver.
Lots of chatter here now that we're talking about heads and how you obviously customize, optimize, that sort of thing. Luke is asking there, any response regarding the shafts don't matter, choose one you like the feel of, which was obviously, I think we never got to the punchline of Rick's video on the Autoflex stuff, but
We just watched a bit at the beginning.
yeah. Obviously, that's not the right answer. If he was, trust me, if he was in this middle seat right now,
Yeah, he wouldn't say that.
he wouldn't say pick the one you like the feel of. He wouldn't.
No.
And if he did, we'd have a conversation.
Yeah.
And I don't think he would continue to have that kind of opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I would doubt it. I'm not saying he categorically, because maybe he would, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
The reality is, when it comes to picking a shaft, well, he's got his Cobra driver, his hazardous yellow. He's put in a shaft that has completely opposite dynamics, and it's not worked for him. I don't think it worked for him as good. I think his dispersion was probably worse. And again, I never saw the
He
end
wasn't
result.
hitting good shots, and it's totally fair. He wasn't hitting good shots.
But again, the one that works well for you, if he brought in another shaft that had a similar profile, he'd probably expect it to do kind of similar-ish things.
Yeah, that's fair.
The opposite was never going to be, the way for him, and it wasn't obviously, tuned to match up with the head well.
Yeah.
The shafts clearly matter, and we've kind of shown that in numerous videos, and you can't ignore the piece that connects you to the club head.
I don't think you can. I mean, it's
the only bit that's kind of matching to your timing dynamically, you can't ignore.
Can't ignore any part of the club, but you certainly can't ignore that
Can't
part.
ignore that part.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Definitely.
Shafts.
Shaft.
Making a difference
I
to
know.
you. Okay.
Check in our
Yeah,
first little call.
I'm sure we have plenty now. Yep. Stand by, folks.
Let's see what's going on.
I'm sure we have a willing and able interviewee. Okay. Let's see how many takers we got on today's list. A decent number. Suspense. Okay, we have how many people today so far? Okay. 37 of you
37.
have decided that you may want to speak to these two goofs. Okay. The random number generator will tell you very shortly.
Jacob, the embargo on the new TaylorMade product, I believe was it 19th?
I believe it's the 19th, or if not
January
the 21st.
19th?
It might be the 21st, but it's one of those 2 days.
Right around there.
Okay. The person, that was easy. The person who we'll be speaking to, his name is Holden McKinney. Holden McKinney. I am sending you an email.
Sending you a link right now, Holden.
I hope you're available. If you aren't and you are on, just let us know really quick that you can or cannot, and we can pick someone else if needed. Otherwise, the spot is yours.
Sebastian is asking, Ian, what recommendation do you give for a golfer coming in for a retrofitting, say on their irons?
Oh.
What recommendations do I have? Holden, I would. Holden.
Who are you
I'm
talking
ready for Holden. Sebastian.
Sebastian.
I'm talking to.
Okay.
Sebastian, the first thing I would do is, if you're coming in for a retrofit, I would call in advance and make sure that, say if it's us, make sure we have that head in the drawer, right? And if we don't, do we have something really close? Are we able to replicate? Are we able to really perform this retrofit to the best of our ability? And if the answer is obviously yes, then you're going to get a great fit. I think at that point it's about, okay, what does a retrofit look like? Are we going to look at shafts? Are we going to look at grips? Are we going to look at loft and lie specs? Do you take into account the golf ball that I use versus the one that maybe I should use? Asking all these questions, making sure that the company you're going to go and see take all these things into account. Do you recommend gapping? Will you look at the short irons and the long irons and look at my iron set as a progression? Will there be any consideration given to that as well? So,
Great questions.
making sure that you're going in there and they're really going to do a great job for you.
A bending machine on premises on fitting bay. Would you go to a retrofit if they didn't have that? Is there any point in doing it without that? I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No,
would you pay for it?
I hear you. I don't know if I would really
every
step
session
into any fitting environment if you didn't have the ability to move loft.
Every session I've had with you, loft or gapping or retrofit or anything, and I've seen you do it with people, you've made at least 2 or 3 adjustments. I just would find, how do you know exactly how many degrees? I've seen you do you've done quarter degree lie changes for me. You've come back. I've literally hit shots and seen the difference.
Seen changes, yeah.
It's not like I wouldn't believe you, but if I couldn't hit if I couldn't hit the ball after, you'd be left with some doubt. So, yeah.
Guys, today is Russian Christmas.
Is it?
Merry Christmas to any people of Russian ethnicity.
Our pal Mikey?
Our boy Mikey.
Mr. Martisev.
Mikey boy is having his
Merry Russian Christmas.
Russian Christmas.
Is it literally called Russian Christmas?
Aye, that's what I call it. The Ruski Christmas.
Yeah, that's fine.
To our great friends and our pal Mikey and all his side of the family that have Russian heritage, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And everyone else who may be celebrating Russian Christmas. I will also mention something. Me and the missus are having an anniversary today. Happy anniversary, missus. Not wedding anniversary, but
this is boys to be.
Meeting anniversary was today.
Wow.
8 years ago.
8 years ago, eh?
Yep, she's put up with me for 8 years. Somewhat shocking. So, she's working from home
with us, don't they?
They really do.
They do.
I feel like I put up with a bit too, but yeah, they definitely put up with it. She's literally watching this working from home. And she's texting me, telling me to shut up, probably. Shut your hole.
Band just want to get the vodka. I'm not sure what. Oh, for the Russian.
Yeah, it's polite.
Well, the Russian Orthodox. I think Kyle's made a good point there. The Russian Orthodox Christmas.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure there's.
So if you're not Orthodox, you may not celebrate it.
You may not celebrate it, but it is Russian Orthodox. Yeah.
Whatever it is you want to do, you should do. Holden, we haven't heard from you.
Haven't heard from Holden. We'll give you a couple more minutes and then we'll do a redraw.
And worst case, Holden, if we redraw and you come on later, I'll get you, so don't worry. But the show must go on, people.
There's our man.
His ears were burning.
Holden, incoming.
Okay, Holden's incoming. There he is. He's got headphones. We're laughing. Okay, Holden, I hope you can hear us now. I'm going to say hello, and then I'm going to admit you, and then we're going to mute our mics, so feel free to chime in and give us your question, okay? Come on in.
Holden, how are you?
Can you hear us okay there? Little sound test for me. Just say hello. Maybe tap on your mic. I can't hear you.
Let's kind of try and connect you back in.
Hold on.
Let's try and connect you back in.
Disconnect, go back to your email and click it one more time. It maybe just did admit your sound. Just make sure when you sign in that you're clicking yes to your mic authorization. And let's try one more time. Just out and then back in. The silence is killing me. It's like a Zoom call. Like there's sometimes a button that says, do you want to allow sound? And if you don't, say yes.
Yeah.
Then, so let's give Holden a second to zip back on.
We'll connect back in with Holden. Nice to see he's there though.
Yeah, he was ready. He was ready to go. Okay, let's try again.
Try again.
Okay, Holden, try for us one more time, bud. Can't hear you. Sorry, buddy.
No sound coming through, Holden.
Oh, something there. Try turning your volume way up. I think I heard something there. I definitely heard.
Yeah, I heard a little something.
Can you guys hear me now?
We can.
There we go. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Do you have
Holden.
me?
What's your question? Yep.
We can hear you, buddy. Awesome.
So this year I kind of rebuilt my bag, but I wasn't really comfortable getting fitted. So I bought the Tour Edge EXS driver in 3-wood with the smoke yellow 60-gram shafts. I was playing a Titleist 915 D2 in both the 3-wood and the driver with the Aldia Rogue 95 MSI 70-gram shaft. I picked up a ton of distance, but my dispersion has really been all over the place since I upgraded both clubs. So I was wondering if there was any shaft options I could go with that would better suit my game. Maybe a heavier shaft or a stiffer shaft. I only got the 6.0 shaft or 6.0 stiff shaft.
And Holden, are you normally an X-Flex? Are you what club head speeds are you dealing with?
I'm about 112 mile an hour driver club head speed. So I'm kind of between the two. I play a KBS 125 shaft in my irons.
So I would say you've kind of you departed stiff quite a long while ago. I mean, if we think about right now, on average on the PGA Tour, 113 is the average on the PGA Tour, and there are very, very few guys, other than the kind of guys who are left maybe swinging at 106, 107. There's a few of those guys that are maybe still out there, but not many. I think X-Flex is definitely your way ahead. You know, get some numbers and try to isolate what it is that's causing the issues, whether you can separate face to path relationship. So is it the face coming in open or closed? Just being inconsistent?
My path does tend to be inside out, and when I miss, it tends to be open at impact too.
So what we've seen, and if you can maybe even go back to any of the old videos we done with retrofitting some of Matt's old clubs, is that we found with him, when he used the shaft, it was too soft. The shaft still had too much deflection on it, and the face was wide open. Yeah. So I think the shaft not recovering in time sounds like it could be part of your problem here. So upgrading to something in the X-Flex.
This is the 6.5 of what Holden's using, and even the 6.5, 60 gram, 3.5 torque.
Yeah.
I don't have it in front of me, Holden, the 6.0 version that he's using, but this one is a little on the soft side even, I think at his speed, the 6.5. So not shocking that it's not quite the right one.
No, I would definitely look at that as a primary reason you're struggling a little bit with the dispersion. I'm not surprised you picked up distance. The Tour Edge stuff's fantastic. Yeah. Very low spin, and I think there's some good upside in there for you. The driver specifically, it offers a Club Connects piece. So if there's somewhere round about you that has a Club Connects, whether it's a true spec or something like that, you can go and get it retrofitted and definitely plug some shafts into your head and see if you can come up with something that's a little better for you.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, the head is good. I wouldn't blame any issues dispersion-wise on this. No. It sounds like the shaft's a bad fit, and I'm sure you've noticed like this head was quite stable and fast, so that's good. I'm glad we'll hopefully save him from discarding the head, because it was good.
It's good. It is good. Yeah. No, and we've got some new stuff coming from them imminently. So yeah, try that first, Holden. Love to hear how it goes, and shoot us a little note in the next couple of weeks when you've kind of tried some stuff.
Okay, sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks,
okay,
Holden.
Pal. Take care. Nice to meet you, Holden.
Take it easy. Perfect. It's good. Good question, and it made exact sense, didn't it? Mm-hmm. So interesting. You really get a sense from these call-ins the frustration that you would experience spending any amount of money, whether this is a good deal, obviously.
Yeah.
But you go to the range and you're just like, what is happening here? And then you are left to troubleshoot it. Oh, is this head any good? Oh, the shaft's head stiff. It should be fine. It's like, and just 10 seconds from you, hopefully for Holden, just went, oh, that shaft is totally wrong. Let's start it again.
Well, what were you just talking about 5 minutes prior? Shafts don't matter.
I know. Yeah. Holden will be a prime example. I guarantee you when he comes back, he'll have better dispersion.
He would be a great example of someone who shafts really matter for.
Absolutely.
And it's not even a one-size-fits-all. No. There are people who have certain load tendencies that can adjust to shafts and how they bend and load profiles. It takes some time, but they'll catch up to it. And there's others who, normally in the heavy loader category, really just cannot get that shaft to
No.
catch up at all.
No, and the open face thing made perfect sense.
Yeah.
We've seen it a million times, so good.
Yep.
Hold and hope that helps. I know it will.
Yes.
I know it will.
Bryce, we are still embargoed. So and literally until we have the head and hands on a camera,
Yeah, you'll know.
that'll be the first time we can talk about it.
You will know.
We want to be the first one that you guys, obviously turn to. We want to be the first ones to tell you about any new tech and what the differences are and why they've done this and why they've done that. All that sort of stuff.
Definitely.
We want to do that. Trust me, I'm dying. I'm bursting at the seams to do it, but we have to hang fire.
Yeah, it's not going to be much longer, guys. Honestly. It's
Grumpy UPS guy actually might be dropping one off today. A nice box.
Hopefully he treats it with ginger care and doesn't just throw it through the wall. So we've just crossed the 1 hour mark, which is fantastic.
Love it. Well, just got another.
Let's do a little speed
linky.
round. Yeah. Oh, you want to do another link? Yeah.
I'd love to do another little link. I think two. Let's get try two in would be
So
great.
link is coming, guys. Stand by. Stand by. If you want to get in, you can. If you're already in, you don't have to get in again.
Nathan Wozniak, you and I could be pals. I'm putting that out there. Throw whatever shaft you want in there. It doesn't make any difference at all. It's just the primary dynamic contributor to a complex dynamic.
Oh, Nathan's the engineer.
No
yeah.
big deal.
Yeah.
Nathan, you and I, pal. You and I. We could go for a beer and enjoy that one.
Yeah, he's right. Okay, link is in there, guys. If you put your name in earlier, you don't have to do it again, just so you know. You will still be eligible. I don't pick people twice, but you're still eligible otherwise. And there it is. Take 2 minutes, throw your name in. We'll take a few more questions, and then
there.
let's we'll wrap up with a nice extra interview. New Callaway Player Hybrid for 2021.
Wait, we can't say.
Can't say
we're not allowed
anything.
to.
Oh,
We're not allowed to say. We're not.
a lot of new
allowed to
clubs
say.
are coming out. How's that?
Yeah. I'm not sure what that means, Jared. Ian, my buddy, came in for a fitting and said, "You're a man missile." So congrats on that.
Good for you. It's what you've always wanted to hear, isn't it?
I'm taking it that's a good thing.
I think it's a good thing. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm delighted to hear that. There's nothing better than that.
Somebody having a good experience.
Whisker, we will not be hugging it out with the UPS guy. It won't be happening.
Unfortunately, the UPS guy has chosen his side. He doesn't want to be friendly. I say hello to him. Grumpy with me too.
Bryce is saying it's weird how you can't say anything even with them constantly posting about it.
It is weird, Bryce.
It is. You're right, but it's.
What are we going to say that
I
isn't
know.
being said? It doesn't matter. That's what the problem is.
Yeah, that's it
Doesn't
right
matter.
now. I mean, but the problem is, these are, this is our following, and they go.
Oh, I agree.
What do you? They want
I
to know
agree.
what you think, and they want to know what I think.
I totally agree. The timeline is unfortunate. What would be ideal is if when you guys were made aware that this stuff was coming, that we could talk about it pretty close after.
Yeah.
I get stuff gets leaked, but the 3-month delay between you guys knowing about it and some of you have hit it and we still can't talk about it, believe me, we know. We know it's not the best way to do it. But we follow the rules for now. The rules are what they are, and if we break the rules, it will take us even longer to get products. So that's why we're doing it.
I saw a couple of things there I wanted to kind of touch on. Nova Scotian, Ian, you worked at TaylorMade. I've been watching Trotty on YouTube, and I really like his videos. Do you know him, and how good is he when it comes to fitting and equipment? I do know Trotty very well, and he's excellent. He has made his way kind of up the chain at TaylorMade, and he's a really, really good communicator. He's a good brand ambassador for TaylorMade. From the fitting side, I think he brings some really kind of good fitting and R&D sort of topics and explains them very well. So I know that's part of his movement moving forward is probably to do less tour stuff and more media stuff.
Is that right?
Yeah. I think he
He's good
enjoys
at
it.
He's good at it.
We had him on our podcast.
We did. It was great.
When it was the launch of the new irons, the new P770s.
Yes, we did P770 with
MBs.
Trotty. Yep, and you interviewed
that
him
sort
on
of
the
stuff.
tour truck
That's
last
right.
December.
That's
so
right. Him and Wade. So
And
yeah,
Wade.
we know Trotty.
Yep,
We do.
he's a good lad.
We do.
Okay, I'm going to do another draw here.
Love it. Love it. Look out, guys, another draw coming.
All right, on to the forms. Grab one while I'm doing this. Take me 2 minutes.
Patrick saying 1 million subscriber special full bag fitting for the grumpy UPS guy.
And then you give him the bill at the end. That's a good video,
absolutely.
viral video. You've won a free fitting. Oh, great. Clubs aren't free though, UPS guy. Also, we will be shipping them to you and it will take 16 business days. We'll be there between 9 and 4.
Kyle is asking, is Trotty basically becoming the Chris Vauchal of TaylorMade? Yeah, he has been that for a while, and, but there's only one Chris Vauchal.
There is only one Chris Vauchal, but I would say if you want to, it's complimentary to Chris. It's like, who is the person at every company that I think the public likes? Yeah. Trotty is that guy for sure, and Chris is that guy for Mizuno.
I mean, I think what Trotty does a great job of is he gets social media. Yeah. He gets you know, how to interact and how to make his posts fun, and he'll do his Q&As and stuff like that.
He also gets when to speak candidly. And I found that on the podcast with us. He said, I get it. I work for TaylorMade. People can take what I say with a grain of salt, and this is what I think of it. And you can always know that he is being paid, obviously, by TaylorMade. However, I do like that he at least like he isn't pretending like his opinion is 100% unbiased. No. He knows he works for TaylorMade. So I like that he's at least, you know, he's just, people appreciate honesty. Yeah. It's as simple as that.
They are, I will say there are subtle differences though. Vosh is an engineer moving into marketing. Trotty is a fitter moving into marketing.
Good point.
Right, they started here and here. Now they've kind of got somewhat closer.
Good point.
They're not exactly the same, but you know they're getting there.
Two good people. I know marketing gets a bad rap in golf, but if you're gonna, you will always have marketing departments. If you're gonna have them, I think people should be happy that people like those two are in the marketing department because they bring more honesty to it than most, I think. Okay, I'm ready. The winner of draw number 2. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Jevin James or Javon, forgive me. I hope I'm not saying this horribly, but I think it's Javon.
Javon.
Let's go with that.
I like that.
I am emailing you to your yahoo.com account. And when you get on, you can tell me how to pronounce your name. Incoming. Where's my thing now? My laptop is burning my hand right now.
Is it really on fire?
It's on fire. Yeah, I got to look into a new one. It's too stuttery when we have our interviews. It's obviously a lot of is a graphics card or something. Somebody who's smarter than me can tell me why when we interview people it puts so much strain on the computer. I think it's the internet link also, but if you could feel how hot this laptop was. It's literally on fuego. Okay, so we have our guest incoming. We will let you know when we're ready for that. In the meantime, you can obviously pepper in a few questions. This is a quick one from Liam. I think we've taken almost the same question last week, but I hit my 3-wood further than my driver. Is that a fitting problem? Most likely, or a swing problem. But your 3-wood is certainly performing a lot better than your driver, needless to say. Needs a look.
It needs a look. Yeah, there's leakage, Liam. There's no reason for that to be. I've had a good friend of mine. Again, they're probably watching this right now. I know certainly one of the guys, but good friend of mine that actually works for an OEM. He drives exclusively with the 3-wood. Hits his 3-wood about 255.
Yeah, you were telling me
and just went, there's no value to me hitting a driver. I just don't hit a driver any further. You know, 255, I hit a driver exactly the same distance at a much more accurate 3-wood. Well, by the time he left his fitting, he was hitting his driver about 290. It made a huge difference. He just wasn't in the right driver.
Yeah.
He kind of didn't, there was a few little pieces of information that he didn't know, not he didn't know about, but that he wasn't implementing that he needed to when it came to hitting a driver better than he currently was.
Yep.
Guys, if you swing at a 3-wood and a driver exactly the same way, you're probably not going to get optimal results out of one of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No, it's impossible.
It's impossible.
One swing will be better suited to it than the other.
You may be very upward in your angle of attack, and then 3-wood just sucks. You top a bunch, you thin a bunch, your contacts all over the map. It's not very good. Then the driver turns into a monster that's just high launch, low spin bombs.
Yes.
You flip that around and you've got the player who's very content putting the ball back in the stands, getting a little bit on the steeper side, leaning the shaft and getting that launch out at 10 and 3200 with the 3-wood, but they don't do much better with the driver.
I know.
Until they put the ball forward, get some tilt in their setup, work on that angle of attack, get the loft down, and all of a sudden their spin loft narrows enough that they separate it by 25 yards.
Very interesting. Would you say that, yes, it's potentially something that could be addressed in a fitting, but the video we did on driver swing versus, I know it's called driver swing versus iron swing,
Yeah.
but it's kind of the same
Similar
conversation. We
thing.
talked about angles of attack, so that's a good one to watch.
Javon.
We have Javon. Okay, stand by, folks. I see headphones. Javon, you wearing headphones? He is. Okay.
It is. Hoping for good sound.
It's going to be good. Okay, so we're going to say hello to Javon. Javon, come on in. Let us know what your question is, and we'll go from there.
All right, can you hear me?
We ever hear you. Very
Oh,
good
man.
sound. Hello.
Perfect.
Nice sweater. Oh, this is it. Here we go. Oh my God.
You're my favorite.
What a guy. Looking
Big
good.
fan of you guys, man. Big fan of you guys. First and first, appreciate you guys putting on some real good information. And Matt, for the high swing speeders players, thanks for showing us the different types of shaft and stuff that's out there for us.
You're welcome.
So, gents, swing weight question, build question. Just kind of curious to see what your thoughts are. So, best driver I've ever got fitted for was a M4. Swing weighted at D5. It had the Tensai Orange TK shaft in it. So, as you know, very expensive club. Enjoyed everything about it. I'm a high swing speed player myself. Average around 128. I could get up to 32. So, cracked the head. Couldn't get another M4. Very annoyed. Got the M6 and had some woes with the M6. Unfortunately, dented that head, and now I have a Civ Max in my head. Shout out to TaylorMade for keeping up with their warranties. So still have the same shaft. I went and got fitted. Had to do quite a bit of hot melt to get that head to D5 because it was tipped. So I'm kind of curious on that build. Does that build make sense? And I have another swing weight question.
Yeah, let's do that first part first.
Yeah, I think the build makes sense. I think you've done a really good job of making it make sense, Javon. I think with something like Tensai Orange with that tungsten pre-preg in the butt section and how stiff that is, really for that shaft to work properly, it really does need heavier head weight. That MR70 material that's in the tip section is so stiff, and you're super quick, but it does need the shaft to kind of create a little bit of deflection to create feel and some dynamics and things like that. So I do think you've done the right thing there. I mean, you've probably, I'm ballparking here, but you've probably added somewhere in the region of 6 or 7 grams of hot melt, maybe even 8 grams of hot melt, somewhere in that region to try and get that to that D5. So it sounds like you're right on track with that.
Awesome. Okay, good, perfect. And then so again, another swing weight question. So D5 throughout the irons, I go hybrid. Sometimes I do a kind of a driving iron between a hybrid and thanks for that video yesterday. And then now I'm putting the 3-wood driver in the bag. Both will be a D5. My wedges they have the KBS. Oh gosh, can't remember the name of the shaft. Shoot. But I have Titleist SM7s in there and pretty heavy head and the swing weight at D8. Is that too much? Where's like the threshold as far as, all right, this is too much swing weight in a wedge?
No, you're okay there. Honestly, you're absolutely fine. Having a little bit more head weight in clubs that are less dynamic, a little bit more kind of towards chipping and a little bit more towards the short game shots, Javon, is a really good thing. I actually have a good friend of mine who his Vokey wedges go D7, D9, E1. So he really likes to feel the head weight. It's just how he likes to pitch, and he loves to feel the club head. Obviously, the increase of mass in the head is going to be beneficial when you're hitting out of bunkers. You've got some mass that you've got to try and get the club head through, chipping in the rough. I think when we talked to the guys at Arcos and they'd said to something like only 20% of wedge shots are played from the fairway. It was something.
Yeah,
It was a
that's
crazy
crazy.
low number like that. So
Makes sense though.
yeah, so you do need a little bit more mass for the wedges. There's no doubt about that. So you're absolutely fine. I love that progression. You know, if somebody was D2 with their driver and D5 with their wedges, I think they're bang on.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I think in terms of that spacing, I think you're in great shape. I think you're really, really good, and trust yourself. You know, when we done those 12 points on the driver fitting, Javon, what the last point about trust your instinct. You know, you know what you like the feel of. If something isn't working and you go, it's not working and it feels heavy, I probably should look at this. You know, you're a good player clearly, and you'll have your own instincts about that. So trust those two.
Hey, gents, I really appreciate it. Lots of great information on this show, man. I can't tell you guys how much you guys probably saved me over the last year and a half now. And also the BGT stability shaft and the putter. One of the best decisions. If you're watching the show, you need to have that putter.
That's awesome.
Great thing. So, hey,
Thank you, Javon. Thank you.
You are the best, buddy. I really appreciate you coming on, and like those types of endorsements, because there's a lot of skeptics about things like the stability shaft and things like that, and you know they do make a difference, and it's a scale of a lot of a difference and a little difference, but it will make a difference, and I love to hear your experience on that. So thanks for sharing all of that.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Javon. Thanks for coming on.
Take care, buddy. Thanks.
That's awesome. Bonus points for having the sweater on, honestly. Bonus points.
Maximum.
Bonus points. Good question, too. I like that.
Yeah.
When he first said D8 on the wedges, I wasn't sure what you were going to say, but it makes sense. It's relative. If you're D5 with the driver and that's what you perform well with, then obviously the progression is different than someone who's D2 in the driver. Very good. Well,
very cool.
Another successful day of interviews. Honestly, we have a horseshoe up our ass. This just keeps going well, and people are nice, and they have good questions, and I don't know what to say. It's so good.
You know, I definitely think though that we could probably run a pretty high percentage through this community that are on here right now. That you know, whoever we get on is going to be a really, really good person and good candidate with good experiences, and it's been so varied. Think about the variety of people that we've had on now.
It's the best part. Younger people, older people. Who swing at fast speeds, slow speeds, and we've only done about 5 or 6 of these.
Definitely.
It has quickly become a mainstay, needless to say.
Absolutely love it.
Don't worry, eventually I'll get a new laptop.
I know.
Apple, do you want to sponsor us?
Sponsor.
It's cooling off a bit. People that have chimed in, thank you for your input. I'm aware that mine is not equipped for this situation. I'm going to just have to start from scratch.
So this would be sort of like...
So I'll give you an example. My computer at home, the iMac that I use, is like a supercharged 5K iMac for editing. It's great.
Yeah.
So when I invested in said computer, I said, I'm not editing on my laptop anymore. I need a basic laptop for doing web updates and my work remotely.
Of course, yeah.
It wasn't intended to be like a powerhouse. So it's very basic specs. They make, if anyone's wondering, I know PCs are cheaper, I get it. But for those that are committed to the Mac workflow for many reasons, our live app is a Mac app actually. It only runs on Mac, this Ecamm. And to be honest with you, it is fantastic. There are a lot of live streaming apps. I personally think from a usability standpoint and not having a team in the studio, this is like as good as it gets.
Yeah.
I don't know how we can interview people like that, like on the spot while we're talking. Like it's been
fantastic.
It's been great. So hopefully the stream is good at home, guys. I mean, we keep an eye on it. It looks like it ran fairly smoothly. I know when the interviews come on, it can get a little jittery and the voice track gets a bit separated. But we'll continue to work on it. It's always a work in progress. You just have to understand the live streaming is it's a whole other thing, and we get better. I think we get better with it every week. So
definitely, definitely.
But good live, great live.
Okay, guys, I think we've got a few videos today. Not got a crazy schedule today. There's
calm before the storm continues, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't seen this
some
yet.
new shafts through the door, some new demo products. We have some Fuji Speeder Evo 7. So this is the 757X that Matty
really
Boy is going to try.
Changed the design much, have they?
You have not. They changed. Yeah, they changed.
Sorry, I meant graphics. Sorry,
graphics.
It looks very consistent with. I don't know. I've thought speeders have sort of this style for ages. Maybe that's on purpose, obviously, to keep the heritage of it.
Yeah.
it looks a little more, I don't know, this looks a little bit retro to me almost. It's cool.
Michael, UPS delivered the package. Go check your Instagram. I tagged you in a post last night
nice.
and all the other Long Island junkies.
I didn't see this.
Michael sent us
Went to bed too early, obviously.
some hats,
Thank you,
some
Michael.
ball markers, some stickers. So the Long Island golf junkies, huge shout out to you guys. Thank you for the swag package. I mean, it was said that Ian Fraser would never be seen with a hat on his head. But
Hey, how did I miss this? When did you post this?
last night,
What was I doing?
probably sleeping. It probably wasn't an early
Well,
one.
no, I probably said to Lindsay I'm going to stay off my phone a bit tonight. Ian's wearing a hat.
He's wearing a hat.
Have I died? Well, all of you guys, thank you. That's awesome.
So thanks
What
to
is
the
it-
Long
what's
Island
it say
Golf
on the hat?
Junkies.
Oh, it literally says Long Island Jeff?
Long Island Golf Junkies, and they sent us a really nice little
That's awesome.
little package.
Thank you, guys.
Where is
It's
that?
very nice of you. You've look at the number of photos of you wearing a hat.
This is Cristiano
Cristiano
Ronaldo wearing
Ronaldo?
the TXG
Did you
swag.
guys know? Jack Nicklaus.
There's
Oh,
a beauty of Tiger Woods wearing. So that was basically the swag they sent.
Oh, that's
us.
awesome.
Yeah, a couple of hats and.
well, thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
It's very cool. It is winter here. We need a hat. And you guys from Long Island know what winter's like also.
T-Dubs and a TXG swag.
And there's you. T-Dub looks good in that sweater.
Does look good in that sweater.
Tiger, I think you should.
We should rock it.
You don't need any money to be sponsored, right, Tiger? Just come to us.
Alrighty.
Enjoyable as always. Any closing thoughts there, lads?
Closing thoughts. Are we back on for the head-to-head?
I want to do something live today. Yeah. Let's get the opinion. So we were sort of starting a little series before we decided not to go to Dubai. That was going to be about Ian and I kind of doing some tweaks to our bags prior to leaving. Now we filmed a bit of it. The video is fine. It's just I'm not going to release it because we talked about Dubai like the whole time, and it. By the time I was editing it, I realized there was nothing left. So your guys' opinion, and not to say we can't do both. Do you want to see another live today where we talk about our bags and the stuff we were chatting about in that video, for example? Because I don't know that necessarily we'll do that series yet. We'll do it prior to our next trip, but it feels a bit less.
We could dive on, just do the whole head-to-head series. Like, what do the guys want to test?
I was going to say, so would you rather see something like that? And I'm definitely up for that. So if you'd prefer to see a nice head-to-head series, then let's do that. And what we can do over the next 2 hours, we're going to film a bit and obviously have lunch. Maybe we put a couple polls up and people can fire in some ideas for the head-to-head.
Now, Joe Lucarelli.
Oh, I know Joe. By the way, hello, Joe.
Joe,
Good to see you.
I was literally going to send you a message the other day.
A wellness check.
A wellness check. I hadn't seen you in the chats for
I'm
so
relieved.
long.
He's alive.
And I can't even think why I was thinking of you the other day. I just thought I haven't seen Joe in the chats for a long time. And I was literally going to send you a DM on Insta this week just to go, everything okay? It's just been a while and stuff like that. So
It's good to have you back, Joe.
really nice to see you, pal. Really nice to see you.
It is always nice to have the team all around. And to be honest, the team grows every day. All of you that are on these lives, to be honest, the number of people's names I recognize now, it's in the thousands.
Yeah.
Like this entire page, I remember all these names.
I know.
I'm not going to say I would know their faces, obviously, but I remember. It's great. It is great. Let's finish that thought. The second live. So probably around 2:30, 3 o'clock, guys, today. Go to Instagram and just send us, or don't send us, I'll put a story up, write in what you want to see on a head-to-head session today. So head-to-heads, if you haven't seen them, we go live for half an hour. We literally test whatever the hell you want in real time. So if you want to see a Touareg Exotics EXS up against a Titleist TSI, if enough people want to see it, you will receive it. Yeah. And that's what we do. So we'll see you guys later for that. We're going to film probably this in between.
Yeah.
A bite of lunch in between. Anything else?
Um,
That'll be our day video tomorrow, and then Monday is a normal Monday.
We have some.
Oh yeah, show people these. These are sexy. So take the. Let's do a live unboxing.
Little unboxing, little unpackaging.
Take the plastic off. I'll make use of my.
Some Mizzy putters.
I'll make use of my expensive camera, and we'll zoom in on it. Ready?
Okay.
Allow me to man the
This
camera.
one's nice. Actually,
I like that little square back look. Okay, so
this one's really nice.
humor me for a moment.
Go for it, pal.
Okay, guys. So new Mizuno M-Craft putters. Am I correct? Is that what these are?
Yes, yeah.
And what is new about them? Is it the head styles?
Three new styles.
Okay. So I'm holding the
Styles. You're holding, I think what's that? I've got the 5 here.
M-Craft 4, guys.
4, right?
M-Craft 4. It's good looking.
Good looking.
I will attempt to show you a dress. This is a bit of a stretch, but let me try. The autofocus wants Ian's face. I think it wants your face. There it goes. That's a dress there. Get that face out of the way. Go put your hat on. Dude, I feel like
You've really missed a key moment in the history of
the
the channel.
the one night I don't go on Instagram all night, and you're doing that.
So funny. So we've got the 1,
3
2,
different models.
Yeah, and then we've got this cheeky little number. We've got the number 6 in the lovely blue coloring.
You guys want a close up of the blues?
I think that's
People are enjoying it.
it.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah, they're good. So,
Well, here, you hold
say
it.
that fancy camera yours. It's perfect. Slits it come across.
It's good when you spend $17,000 on something, eh?
So
The least they can do for me.
popular little model, obviously that one.
That is gorgeous.
You can see it kind of maybe in that sort of plain position.
I gotcha. So this is the very popular sort of Talon style JT used Odyssey. What does Odyssey call it?
Number 7, Odyssey number 7, the Fang.
It's that exact shape, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's good. The blue finish looks good. It really does.
Yeah. So
I like this grip too. It's kind of corded,
It's really nice. The grip is nice.
textured. Lambkin has a grip, or is this a Lambkin? Yeah. You know what I just said?
What's that?
Lambkin has a grip just like this.
Made by Lampkin.
I'll be okay, folks.
Well, you were right.
Yeah, that's right.
Or they have one very similar to. It's called that one.
It's literally that one. Yeah, exciting. So
Good.
we'll do some putting too.
A little bit of putting, little check-in of those. I think Mizuno's entry into the putting market last
Yeah.
year was great. I loved mine. I deserted it at the end of last year. It wasn't the other way around.
It was a it's me not you situation. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Well, guys, great live as always. Thank you for joining us. We will see you in a few hours. Look how good that is.
good, that isn't it? Sharp.
Works well. Okay, we'll see you guys in a few hours. Get on
Cheers, guys.
Instagram and vote for today's topics.
Yes, sir.